Nationwide, distracted drivers account for more than 3,000 deaths and 400,000 injuries. In San Diego County, researchers of the Adult Cell Phone Survey looked at the habits of local drivers who use cell phones behind the wheel. The results? More than half, or 56%, report driving with a handheld phone, while 92% say they drive with a hands-free phone. Here with more on what every San Diego driver needs to know about distracted driving are Dr. Linda Hill, lead researcher of the survey, and California Highway Patrol Officer Mary Bailey. Thank you both for being here.
You're welcome.
As we get started, I want to let people know there were more than 700 San Diegans who took part in this survey, mostly married women, I understand. And there were some rather startling results. For instance, of the 261 respondents with children under age 11, 65% said they talk on the cell phone while driving with their child in the car. And more than a third, 36%, said they text while driving. Now, Dr. Hill, how do these numbers translate into real-life consequences?
Well, we were really startled and worried about these numbers. What this means is that people are putting both themselves and their kids at risk. And talking distracted is the same as driving under the influence of alcohol. So they're increasing their crash risk by using a phone 4 times and texting 16 times. So that's translating into more injuries and deaths.
Are the ERs seeing it? Are you seeing where these kind of more accidents than before, or more, I should say, injuries than before?
Well, we know that injuries are the leading cause of death to age 45, and motor vehicle crashes are the leading cause of injuries in that category.
So already a bad situation and making it work. Officer Bailey, distracted driving, let's define that a little bit more. It's not just cell phone use.
It is not just cell phone use. It's anything from using your GPS in your vehicle to eating, drinking, putting on your makeup, changing the radio station, even taking care of your kids in the back seat and picking up their toys that may have dropped.
Okay, I'm going to play a little bit of driver's devil's advocate here. San Diegans spend at least 1 to 2 hours a day on average in the car. Surely they're not expected to never eat, talk to their kids, listen to the radio, sing to the radio. What sort of parameters are there in determining when an officer's out there who's driving distracted and who's just taking a sip of their Coke?
We're looking at what your car does. So we notice that you're distracted because there's something that brought our eye to your vehicle, whether or not you're going slower than the rest of traffic, you're weaving, you're cutting people off. We notice those things like not stopping at a stop sign. If you sit at a stop sign and watch the people that run it, most of them are on their cell phone at the same time.
So I like that. You're watching the vehicle, not necessarily what's going on inside the car. Was there any difference between, or do you find any difference between people who are hands-free or people who are actually using the cell?
People are still just as distracted with a hands-free device because they get involved in their conversation and they oftentimes forget to exit the freeway or they forget to change lanes when they need to.
So they didn't seem to matter in the survey, right? Dr. Hale, there were some trends you picked up, and was that one of them?
Well, the concern is that hands-free and hands-held, it's the same risk. So even if people think that they're being safer, in fact, they're not. The message is, it's like driving under the influence of alcohol. You don't want to drive, even with a low amount of alcohol, you don't want to drive distracted. It's the same.
One of the surprising things I found in that survey were that people felt obligated, especially when it was a phone. About a third of the people felt obligated to pick up the phone when it was their employer.
Yes, something's changed in our society that we feel we have to be available all the time. And about a third of people said that they felt they had to take these calls. So I really think this is a message to both employees and employers. This isn't a good thing. We want to keep our workforce safe, have a policy and enforce it.
Yeah, and absolutely keep it safe, and you don't want any liability either if you're the person doing the calling. I'm going to ask this of both of you, but I want to start with you, Officer Bailey. What would be your top advice for people in driving? Let's say you have kids or a dog and trying to stay distraction-free.
Good drivers just drive, and that's what I like to tell people is you don't worry about anything else inside your car, you worry about what other people are doing in other vehicles around you.
And how about you, Dr. Hill, coming from sort of after seeing this data, what would your top advice be?
I'd view this like any other addiction. 92% of people told us they knew that texting wasn't a good thing. And when I talk to the smokers in my clinic, they know smoking's not a good thing. So they're still engaged in the behavior. So we're going to have to work on what can you do to overcome that. We're going to have to work hard.
All right, I want to let people know that they can absolutely find out more about this, the tips, the survey on our website, kpbs.org. Dr. Hill and Officer Bailey, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.